Alright, so going into this movie, I tried to go in with a fully open mind and leave my biases at the theater door. Those biases being, Sylvester Stallone is my favorite actor of all time, and whenever people ask me the question, what is your favorite movie? Since the day I first watched it, my answer has always been the same. Rocky IV is my favorite movie of all time, hands down. So I'm a massive fan of the Rocky movies, obviously, and I've been a fan of the Creed series. This movie here, with the controversy surrounding it with Stallone and that wrinkler to the rights to Rocky, the fact that they didn't even include Sly in this movie, it just pissed me off. Seeing that interview with Sly basically saying that he doesn't own Rocky anymore, he doesn't know how Wrinkler has got the rights to this franchise.
But to get the rights, I've never heard of that in my life. How he got that, I don't know.
And they've basically said, no, fuck you, Sly, you're not going to be in this movie. And that must be fucking terrible for Sly. This series that he's built, he's not even being featured in the next film. He doesn't even get mentioned in the movie. I think they say his name once.
I don't care about the money. I wanted to leave it to my children. I wrote it. I thought it would be nice to say, here's a gesture, darling.
I'm pretty sure there's no bad blood between Jordan and Stallone. Stallone said if there's a Creed 4 and Wrinkler's not involved, he will definitely do it. So I'd love to see that happen.
Michael B. Jordan, we come up with a story. I'll do Creed 4 with him as long as the other fellow's not involved.
So with all that negativity left behind, Michael B. Jordan actually did a really good job directing this film. Michael B. Jordan definitely is really talented behind the camera, especially in the fight scenes. These fight scenes are some of the best boxing scenes I've seen in movies in a long time. Especially the final fight between Adonis and Damien. This fight is fucking awesome. It could have easily gone for another 5 or 10 minutes and I still would have been entertained. A few things in there didn't make sense, like the first round literally lasts for 10 seconds. But then with what they do, the choreography, there's a few rounds in there where they just zone out and it's just them two fighting. There's no audience and it looked so good. Michael B. Jordan says that he draws inspiration from Dragon Ball Z fight scenes, and you can definitely see that in here. And it really worked. It was fucking epic. All the performances were really good. Michael B. Jordan is really good again. But Jonathan Majors, man, this guy can fucking act. He absolutely stole the show in this movie. He's fresh out of prison, and you know when you can sort of tell when somebody's seen shit, they've been through shit. They sort of look around and they can't even enjoy, you know, there's a scene in here, he can't even enjoy like lunch without looking around in this diner like someone's going to attack him. He's always on edge and he speaks in a funny way. He portrayed this character perfectly. The themes in this movie hit really hard. It's all about Adonis and his family. His mum plays a big role in this. It does get pretty emotional, but that's where the good for this movie sort of ends for me. There is a lot of things I liked, but there is a lot that I didn't like. So one of the things I didn't really like, Jonathan Majors' character, he's out of prison, he meets Adonis, they're sort of bonding, and in the trailer you think he's just a prick straight up, but he's not. He's actually really trying to be friends with Adonis again. He's thankful, you know, he meets his family, and then he ends up getting the fight that he's always wanted, and then out of nowhere, instead of turning heel, he turns full Austin fucking heel.
Stone Cold is shaking hands with Satan himself! For the love of God!
It does not make any sense whatsoever. From being this sort of nice guy, when I mean he goes full heel, he turns into a fucking prick in the snap of my fingers, that quick. To the point where I was like, okay, that's sort of lazy writing. You could have worked your way into that, especially with the height of this heel turn. Yes, the boxing fights were good, but when it comes to the crowd, I don't know if they've done this in previous Creed films, but the crowd looked so fake. You can clearly tell it was CGI, and the CGI wasn't great. I mean, they literally look like when you have like wrestling games from back in 05 and 06, the fucking crowd doing all the same movements and bumping up and down. It didn't look good. It sort of took me out of this amazing fight sequence. And the biggest problem I have with this movie, I know I said I'd try and leave my biases at the door, but this movie was just missing something, and that something was Rocky. I know these Creed films are trying to build themselves where Adonis is the sole character, he's the main character, but you don't have a Creed film without Rocky. The first and second Creed, they don't work without Rocky. Rocky is the heart of both of those movies. The first movie where he takes Adonis under his wing, trains him. The second movie, you know, he thinks he's too old for it, he's getting sick, he doesn't want to live, he doesn't want to get treatment. Adonis convinces him, you know, he turns into his trainer again, this whole emotional, you know, roller coaster. And then for him to not even be in this one, not even be mentioned, you know, where he is, did he ride off into the fucking sunset, you know, no mention. And I saw this with a good mate of mine, and I said to him, if I see a gravestone of Rocky, or them mention that Rocky has passed, I would have, for the first time in my life, I would have gotten up and fucking walked out of the theater. I'm not even joking you when I say that. The Rocky character means so much to me. As I said, Rocky IV is my favorite movie of all time. Sly's my favorite actor. If they were to do that, it would have been the biggest fucking disgrace, but thank God they didn't. And I reckon that comes down to Michael B. Jordan. I reckon he would have had some say in this, saying, you know, we can't fuck Sly over. Even though he's not in this movie, we have to treat him right. And I'm thankful they did that. Maybe it was that Wrinkler prick. Maybe he thought we need to treat Sly right, but obviously not, because he's fucked him over in real life. But I don't know. The movie was just missing. It was just missing a big something, and that something was Rocky for me. It just did not work in the best way possible without Rocky. So this movie is a good time. I don't think it's as good as the first or second Creed, but I think the fight scenes are probably the best I've seen. They were really, really good, apart from the CGI'd crowd. The movie has heart. It's got some emotional moments. You know, you see the development of Adonis and his friend. I like the way it ends, but it was just missing. It was just missing Rocky. So it's very watchable. It's a good time at the theater. So I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10.
Well done! Come on, Creed.
And credit to Michael B. Jordan, man. He did such a good job behind the camera. Dude is so talented, and I'm looking forward to see what he does next. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.